Namaskaram. So we are starting with new concept called equalization levy in international taxation. My dear friend, equalization levy was a need of a time. After 2015 specifically, lot of international companies are entering into India through e-commerce operation and for having a advertisement base, because India is one of the largest populated country in the world. Obviously all global players, they wanted to establish their organizations in India, or they want to capture Indian market. It's a very big market. Now according to G20 summit OECD recommendation, every country, whether it is a developed country or developing country, all were fighting with a taxation on international transaction conducted by these e-commerce entities. Specifically, majority of this ad-based company like Google, Yahoo, they are not having physical presence in India, but still they are running business in India. How to tax these companies was very difficult, and it was not only challenge for India, it was a global challenge. So in G20 summit, they recommended action plan, and one of the action plan or one of the suggestion of G20 summit was to levy equalization levy. Equalization levy is kind of TDS, or you can say kind of tax at source. So if Indian person is making payment to Google, say for example, now we are having organization. LearnCap is the organization located in India, and now this educational institution is making payment to Google, which is located in USA, for advertising our lectures on Google platform or YouTube. For that, this organization is charging 10 lakh rupees. Now, if we are making payment 10 lakh for an Indian entity, it is a business expenditure, and for this non-resident, it's an income generated in India. Now, one way to handle this particular transaction was the TDS. But to deduct TDS of this particular organization, it must have permanent establishment in India according to DTAA. Unless and until this Google is having permanent establishment in India, we can't deduct their TDS. Okay. So imagine they don't have permanent establishment in India, and therefore Indian organizations or Indian entities are not able to deduct the TDS. So what is an alternative now? They are definitely earning good money from India. We want to tax this particular income in India. Therefore, we have launched equalization levy. What is equalization levy? So before making payment of 10 lakh rupees to foreign entity, we have to apply 6% rate on their consideration. It's a rate, it's a standard rate. 6% is a fixed rate. 6% of the payment made to the foreign entity is deducted in India, and it will be deposited by Indian entity with Indian income tax, and then any payment made to this non-resident will be exempted under section 1050. Please understand, there won't be double taxation. There is a equalization levy and then there is a TDS provision. No, both will not operate. Either equalization levy or TDS will operate. TDS we have already discussed in section 195. DTAA, okay, whenever it is a taxable income in India according to Income Tax Act, TDS will be applicable. Whenever TDS is not applicable, but still we have wanted to take tax on that particular income, equalization levy will apply. Now, though we are discussing equalization levy in income tax, my dear friend, equalization levy is not written in income tax law. Equalization levy is written in Finance Act 2016. It was Mr. Arun Jaitley sir who has brought this concept in India. It was a very bold move. In fact, I believe India is the first country who has opted something called equalization levy. Let's look at it. Look into the provisions. The rapid growth of information and the communication technology has resulted in substantial expansion of supply of or procurement of digital goods and services globally, including India. Businesses in digital domain doesn't actually occur in any physical location. So Amazon is doing business in India without having permanent establishment in India. Facebook is doing a very good business in India without having any server base or any physical office in India, but instead takes place in the cyberspace. So they are having cyberspace, they are having satellite, they are having database, operating systems, and they can put the database operating system in any country called Netherlands or any country where taxations are very low. Person carrying on businesses in a digital domain could be located anywhere in the world. Obviously, they prefer a country where tax rates are very low. Entrepreneurs across the world have been quick to evolve their business to take the advantage of this challenge. This is just a background. It's not related to any income tax. It is just giving you background of how digital economy is very important in nowadays. Many Indian organizations are making payment. Now, this is very important concept. Many Indian organizations, okay, Bata, then you are, many educators, many institutions, many colleges, we are making payment to outside India for online advertisement on a portals like Facebook, Google, Yahoo, Twitter, which are non-resident organizations and do not have permanent establishment in India. If they have permanent establishment in India, no doubt about it, it would have become taxable in India according to existing income tax law. We don't require a concept of equalization levy for those organizations which are having PE in India. This is for those organizations which does not have permanent establishment in India. So before starting equalization levy study, you need to understand one thing. This is a separate legislation. It's a separate law. It's not income tax law. We are learning a separate act itself. Apart from that, it is applicable only to those foreign entities which does not have permanent establishments in India. Indian tax authorities are losing revenues since the payer get the deduction of the amount. So whoever is making payment outside India, he will get the deduction of the amount paid. But amount received by the Facebook, Google, Yahoo, etc. is not taxable in India just because they were not having PE in India. That was the loophole in the law. Okay. In the light of this, Finance Act 2016, which was introduced by Arun Jaitley sir, has introduced the concept of equalization levy, which was recommended by the global G20 summit OECD model. The provisions of equalization levy are contained in chapter 8 of Finance Act 2016. So it is not in Income Tax Act. Very, very important. If you know the constitutional provisions of income tax law, we have discussed that there are three lists. In article, there is Article 246, which is having 7th schedule. In the 7th schedule, we are having three lists: list 1 state, list 1 union list, list 2 state list, list 3 concurrent list. According to list 1, which is the union list, there is the entry 97. Please understand, my dear friend, there is the entry 97, which is the residuary entry. So what do you mean by residuary entry? Residuary entry means any other law, any other matter. Please understand, any other matter which is not covered under any of the entry in list 1, any of the entry in list 2, any of the entry in list 3, any other matter which is not already taken care will be taken care by entry number 97. And whenever any legislation or any tax revenue or any tax structures is brought to India without having a legislation, you should understand it was brought by Finance Act by using the power given by entry number 97. That's just the constitutional understanding you should have. Therefore, any amount payable to Facebook, Google, Yahoo, etc. on or after 1st June 2016, this is the effective date, is subject to equalization levy if TDS is not deductible on such payment. Obviously, if TDS is deducted, we are not supposed to levy both the taxes. So when TDS is deducted, P in India. If P is not in India, then that non-resident will be subject to equalization levy. The Finance Act 2020, latest Finance Act, this is important amendment. Okay, this is for Alibaba, this is for Amazon, this is for Flipkart. Okay, the Finance Act 2020 provide that equalization levy shall be imposed on consideration received or receivable by a non-resident e-commerce operator. Non-resident e-commerce operator. We are not talking about Indian e-commerce operator. We are talking about non-resident e-commerce operator from the e-commerce activities. So what do you mean by e-com activity? So earlier in 2016, the equalization levy was only on advertisement. That means the major target was Google and Facebook. Let me tell you, the primary target was Google and Facebook. Right now, the primary target is Amazon, Alibaba, this kind of global player which are having their economic transactions in India. It can be service provider, it can be supplier of goods. Okay, so that is e-commerce activity. We are going to learn it in very much detail in coming sections. So all these are according to BEPS action plan. So what do you mean by BEPS? Base erosion and profit shifting. We are having a dedicated chapter for BEPS. But just to your understanding, it is according to action plan. It's not that India has brought this, because whenever India does something like this, India's image in a global place eyes may fall, because it is one of the tax legislation which is eliminating tax planning mechanism conducted by very big player, very big countries. Alibaba is from China, this Amazon is from USA. So they are very big countries, big nation, developed countries, and we are putting some kind of taxes which is going to hurt their sentiment. So it's not only India who has done this. In fact, India has done it according to the recommendation of OECD model, okay, action plan 1, and it was global recommendation. Any country who is a part of G20 summit or OECD, it can adopt this kind of action plans. We should be proud that India is the first nation which has acted upon this and has brought something like this. Now whole world will follow. Many countries are starting adopting equalization levy concept. Look at this. Due to the tax challenges arising from digitalization, G20 OECD Base Erosion and Profit Shifting Action Plan Committee, as a part of its 2015 Action Plan 1 report, identify number of cross-border tax challenges raised by the digitalization, notably in relation to nexus, data and characterization. So we were not able to have the nexus with the country because they will have server in one country, office in another country, business globally. So it was very difficult to identify how much business they are making from particular country. But right now it is clear. Modifying existing permanent establishment rule to provide whether an enterprise engaged in a fully dematerialized digital activities would constitute a PE if it is maintained significant digital presence in another country. So earlier the permanent establishment concept was based on physical establishment, branch office, head office, subsidiary company, warehouse, some kind of physical office. Right now they are saying even if you are having a significant presence in one country, that could also mean a permanent establishment. So they have, one of the recommendation was to modify the definition of the permanent establishment. These are just a recommendation. Please understand, it is not a law. According to the recommendation, we have to make a law. A virtual fixed place of a business. Virtual means global, website or server base. A virtual fixed place of business, P, when the enterprise maintains a website on a server or of another enterprise located in a jurisdiction and carries on the business through that particular website. So even website should become a permanent establishment. Imposition of final withholding tax on a certain payment for a digital goods or services provided by the foreign e-commerce provider. So they wanted to also encourage, or they wanted to bring taxation on in form of withholding with TDS. According to that, if I tell you, there is one section 194O which is introduced in our TDS provision, if you have referred it. Okay. Imposition of equalization levy. So this was the one of the recommendation. So this is what you should know. Other items we will discuss in the respective chapter, but this point was a recommendation from OECD model, not India choice. It was not India choice. Okay. Imposition of equalization levy on a consideration for a certain digital transaction received by the non-resident from the resident or a non-resident having PE in other contracting state. So a non-resident is receiving payment from resident or other non-resident who are having permanent establishment in India. So one NR can make payment to another NR, but that particular NR was having PE in India, then both are covered under equalization levy. So that's the background of equalization levy. Let us start with the discussion of equalization levy in coming lectures. Thank you.